So now let's talk about the first round, IPMAT round 1 aptitude test. So it consists of three sections basically. First is the quantitative ability short answer type question. That is maths. You have to solve questions related to maths. And once you solve, you have to type the answer into the sheet with the help of keyboard. Second one is QA MCQ. So first of all, it has 15 questions. You have to solve it in 40 minutes. Now, the second one is QA MCQ section. Here you have to solve the questions. You will have the MCQs. You have to select the correct MCQ and you will solve it. One catch over here is that for the first section, you do not have any negative marking. But for the second and third section, as you have MCQ, you have your marking as +4 -1. Okay. Then you go there, you have verbal ability. Here you have to solve 45 questions in 40 minutes. It's as verbal ability, it's all about English. So first two rounds are about maths. Second one is about English. You have to solve it. There are various kind of questions related to reading comprehension, vocab, sentence rearrangement and all. And then you have to solve, and then once you clear, one catch over here is that every year nearly 25 students appear for these examinations through various streams. So either you can go through science, commerce or humanities. It's not only related to commerce or science. Everyone from anywhere can just appear for this examination without irrespective of the stream. And if in order to clear the first round, one most important thing is that you need to get rid of the section cutoff. So every section has a particular amount of cutoff and you need to clear it so that you can qualify for the second round. And it's not just that you just have to clear and get away, but you need to score good in each section so that weightage is also taken into consideration. That is another process. I'll talk about it later. But yes, once you clear the round 1, you've got one thing done. Now you can move forward for the personal interview. So top 850 to 900 students generally are selected for the second round. Now we have the syllabus for quantitative ability. Now this is what you have. So generally it's for 11th and 12th, the syllabus which you will study, it's similar to that. Plus you have some topics which are taught earlier, such as number classification, divisibility, HCF, this Y, or else percentage, profit and loss, simple interest, compound interest. And these are the topics which are generally taught in 11th and 12th. You've got higher maths, algebra, geometry and all. So if you're studying especially for IPMAT, then you have to first watch out for the previous topics which were taught earlier, because those are the things which can cause true trouble at times because we haven't seen them in some time. Now, syllabus for verbal ability. This is kind of similar for majority of exams, but the level is quite high. You are appearing for the government scholarship examination, you'll find similar kind of syllabus, but the questions are a bit to the next level. Got etymology and roots, idioms and phrases, modifiers and parallelism, reading comprehension, inference-based passages, syllogisms, logical consistency, deductive reasoning. लगते थोड़े बड़े, but they are normal kind of questions जो हम सबने किए कभी ना कभी. Now, if you look at the second one, that is the personal interview round. So after clearing the first round, students here have to appear for the personal interview round, which is generally taken by panel of 2. So earlier, these kind of interviews used to happen in a particular kind of place in a 5-star hotel or something. But due to COVID, they shifted to online interviews. So when I had my interview, I had a panel of 2 with whom I had my Zoom meeting, and that was the time that is the way I appeared for it. So questions asked in personal interview. Got the HR questions that are like, tell me something about yourself, why you wish to join IPM. अगर तुम बीटेक कर रहे हो, if you're preparing for science, तो बीटेक छोड़ के यहाँ क्यों आ रहे हो, या you're preparing for some CA foundation also, why not that and why coming here, XYZ. Got the subject specific questions. Now this is an important section because the things which you study in standard 11th and 12th, those are the questions that they'll ask. So now if you're from a say humanities or arts background, so whatever you would have studied in that time, they will ask you questions related to that. Same goes for commerce, same goes for science. Then you've got the puzzles. Now puzzles, general mind twisters and all. Now these are the things for which you just need to be street smart. Because usme kya aayega, no one can really predict. It's just your sense and some general practice. Last one is general knowledge questions. So you need to be aware of that. And one special thing about it is that something that is related to your state or city or whatever place you belong to. So say if you are from Maharashtra. So in my personal interview, I was in Maharashtra. I belong from Maharashtra. So I remember during my Rohtak interview, the person asked me, ki, bhai, what's going on in Maharashtra. And at that time, the Maharashtra political crisis was quite famous. So I had to explain them all. And at the end of the day, they were quite convinced because I was prepared with it and I just got away with it. And the same goes on with IIM Indore. So similar kind of question. The day I had my IIM Indore interview, it was expected that the real Shiv Sena fight which was going on, uska result us din aane wala hai. So they were expecting me to tell that, and I just said that. So they were quite happy with it, and I had a point there. Then you have got for city, Malegaon se to Malegaon पूछेंगे. Last thing comes up current affairs. So you have to keep reading news as much as you can, the current affairs which are going in past 6 to 7 months or whatever time it is going on. You should keep reading because something or the other, there is high chance that they'll ask you for that. Now, final outcome, once you're done with all this, वो जो भी कर लिया तुम लोगों ने, once you're here, you can receive the final call in some time and then you will join college. So, my IP journey. Now the thing is, last year, somewhere around July, when I was here a student at Bansal myself preparing for engineering entrances, I just got to know about this course through one of my aunt, and she said that this is an interesting course because I wanted to do MBA since the beginning, and then slowly I got to know about it and I slowly started exploring. As I explored, I just fell in love with it. It had everything that I wanted to do. It was quant dominating and various other subjects which I really wish to explore, such as philosophy, sociology, economics. And it was quite a blend of all the three streams, be it science, humanities, or commerce. So I was quite interested for it. So last year, somewhere around Diwali, I decided I want to do this. And with my consent of my parents, I started preparing. I joined an online coaching for some reference and all. So one thing about me, I was quite comfortable. Being a science student, I was quite comfortable with maths. So maths, here we had Chandan sir. So mera to chill tha. I used to study with them. He used to teach me. So maths, 90% I never really need to study because I was done with it. Except for the topics which were said earlier. I needed to do that because I hadn't revised that. And other than it, verbal was my true pain. Matlab, I was very weak in my English. Abhi bhi aapko dikh hi raha hoga. So as I started telling, as I started working on it, one most important thing I used to do was that I used to read editorials every day, the newspaper editorials. Sorry, I used to read those, and I used to read and note all those difficult kind of meanings of words which used to come, and I started noting them. And slowly, as the time went by, now the time was suddenly shifted because I was not just a science student. My subjects were PCMB. So I had to prepare for JEE as well as NEET plus IPMAT. So it was a pretty kind of a club. Kare to kare kya, because all the exams were expected to come together. Now the catch is that I remember in 1 week I had to appear for 5 exams. 5 exams for IPMAT Rohtak, IPMAT Indore, JEE, VIT Vellore entrance test, and BITSAT. So because of this thing, I was very, very confused. Now what should I do? So I guess the most incorrect way I could have ever did, I chose that. So I used to tell my parents कि भाई मैं जा रहा हूँ बंसल पढ़ने के लिए, and I used to solve the IPMAT mock there. I used to give my mock. My parents used to think कि भाई चांगला JEE चा अभ्यास करतो आपला मुलगा. I shouldn't have done that, I agree. And then I used to solve, I just used to sit on these benches. I used to solve the mock in the afternoon, analyze the mock in the evening, and just again keep on working on verbal. So in the last 1 month, I nearly gave 50 mocks. That is a big number. So at the end, I was pretty confident. And eventually, my father also got to know that he's interested in it. So he said, just get rid of the first attempt. We can appear for JEE again, but you won't get the chance for IPMAT. So you give IPMAT. And I gave both IPMAT Rohtak and Indore. So by the time the second attempt of JEE came, I had the interview call for both the exams. So by then it was sorted. Papa was like, fine, बघूंगे अपन, तू हे चालू दे. And then still NEET तो बाकी थी. So the day NEET was expected. Just a day before I got a call from Rohtak. तो बस चिकन खाने गए थे हम नासिक NEET देने के लिए. So yeah, and eventually after some serious pain, I got this photo. इसके लिए बहुत struggle करना पड़ा. I am quite happy being here. So now one more thing we have here is that how is this course useful for managers? So at IMI, everything is run by students. Be the decision of mess menu, मतलब तुम क्या खाने वाले हो, वो भी student decide करते हैं. And the treasury, the management of all cash you have, Everything is done by the student body and the students which are elected by the students themselves. So one more thing is the fest which you have. We have Athar, Central India's largest cultural fest, and Ranbhoomi, Central India's largest sporting fest, which is both hosted by IIM Indore. That is whole and solely managed by students of IIM Indore. So my seniors were the co-coordinators and coordinators of those verticals of the fest overall, and we being the first year students were the ones who were doing the groundwork. So I remember, have you heard of King, the artist? King. So he's a rapper. So he came to perform in Atharv on day 3. And I remember the work which we had. I was sitting at the entry gate of our campus and I was selling the passes. The people who were coming to buy passes, I was selling them and I was there for 6 hours. So they gave us the true groundwork. Not just these kind of groundwork, we have various work such as finance, marketing, guest relations, the organizing of events, various kind of events. Like in sports, we had to prepare. If we are for cricket, if my sport was cricket, so I had to make the stumps, I had to organize the umpires, I had to control the players who would go to fighting, and and meanwhile they taught us the true management skills. This is how these people are helpful, and it's not just about academic rigor, but it's about overall development of a student. You have various kind of competitions, be it case study competitions or you have got some creative competitions like how will you market a particular thing, XYZ, problem solving. A real kind of companies come in here and they ask for various kind of problems which you have and what solutions could be provided by us to them. These all kind of things help to overall give us the overall development. Now, these are the two events which you have, Atharv and Ranbhoomi. The final one, startup culture at IIM Indore. Now, majority of us have seen Shark Tank or Startup का कीड़ा तो लग ही गया है सबको. So just telling you about startup culture, IIM Indore and especially IPM has been emerging as a startup hub in India in last few years. Various kind of startups, be it edtech, fintech, or related to consulting, everything out there have been started by students and they have been doing quite well in all those kind of fields. So these are students run by IIM Indore, and the ecosystem created over there is super favorable for people who are interested for this thing, and that helps them to create it a lot. So thank you, Pinnacle Classes, for giving me this chance, and thank you everyone for listening to me patiently. So if you have any questions, please do ask me. I'd like to help you.
Any questions from the audience, please? What was the first question asked to you on the interview?
Yeah, I love to tell you my interview experience. So I remember my interview was at 4:45 p.m. That was probably the last slot of the day. So I was in the meeting from 4:30. Generally they call us at 4:45, but they will allow us 5 to 10 minutes earlier. So I was there in since 4:30 and they didn't let me in. So I went in at 4:55 p.m. So 25 minutes I was in the waiting room and I was super tensed. The moment I entered, they started bombarding me with questions from PCMB, all the 4 subjects. They asked me 1 or 2 questions, and suddenly the questions were easy. Like I was able to judge them, but the pressure was quite tense. It was quite heavy on me. So I had to somehow chill the atmosphere. Then they came up with a very unique kind of question. They were like, what does your name mean? And have you ever stood up to your name? It's like, bro, this is a serious chance. Isme to kuch karna hai. So I said, my name Shaurya means an act of courage or bravery, and to convince my parents from science background for a course which is so-called a commerce wala was a true act of courage. And they literally busted out laughing, and then it was very chill. They asked me a few questions about geography ki bhai tum what do you say, Kerala se Ladakh tak kaise jaoge, the states you will cross in, or the famous art form of India, tribal art form of India, Maharashtra, if anyone knows. Parley. Yep. So by then it was pretty easy. So I was in the waiting room for 25 minutes and they let me out in 11 minutes. So it didn't really make sense, but yes, ho gaya wo, and it was pretty interesting.
So you are telling us that this is so-called commerce course.
Hmm.
How many students are there science course in your class?
Exactly, ma'am. Like this is a myth. This is a true myth. So in our class we have 155 students, out of which 81 students are from science, 63 students are from commerce and the left 10 or 11 students are from art. So there isn't anything so called about commerce, and neither is it ki humanities wale bache hai hi nahi. There are students from arts who are there, and they are quite intelligent, they are hardworking. So there are students from science, there are from commerce, and from all streams there are students, and it's quite a balance. We see all kind of courses in the course as well, curriculum as well. So are the students as well.
Any questions?
Yes.
So, what should we do now for such exams?
Chill maro yaar. Time hai. Yeah, like only thing you can do for now is that keep on reading newspapers, editorials, padhte jao. Try to increase your vocabulary. The day I got to know, yes, we had the book called World Par Easy. Just go through that book. That is very, very interesting. That is very unique. You can work on that. Work on your vocabulary. Newspaper padhte raho. Or chill maro. Just keep on enjoying.
So when you opt for this course, I think definitely you have gone through the options or the opportunities what you get
Yes, ma'am.
in future. So please tell us what are the opportunities.
Absolutely. So, ma'am, the reason why I opted this course was that anyhow I wanted to do MBA. So when I was in 10th, I wasn't aware of this course. So I decided that I'll do first BTech and then opt for MBA through CAT. But then when I got to know about this course, I was pretty sure I wanted to do that. So I chose IPM. But now, being a science student as well, there are various kind of courses which you can explore. Preparing for side by side, people are preparing for BTech and they can appear for courses like this. Or even people who are from pure biology came up for here. And if I were to tell about various other courses, so now you have various colleges offering for, if you want to do for business, so you have got colleges offering BBL or NM and all, various colleges, they have their personal entrances. You have, of course, IITs, there are various kind of colleges, you can go through CET, you have NEET, you can go to medical colleges. There are some various other things as well, like if